Okay, wanted to just stop in here again and say hi to some of my friends and family who may enjoy seeing me via this device. Because I realize we're not getting together like we ought to as human beings. We just lurk on these devices to see what people are doing. So this morning I said, let me check in with you all because I had a thought that came across my mind. For many of you who may know me, you may know or might have seen me running the streets of Grand Bahama from time to time over the years. And I got into running a little late. When I say a little late, in that I never did it in school. When I was in school, my focus was more academics than athletics. And I never really did any athletics in school. But as I got out of school and I realized the health benefits of running, I started doing it along with man's best friend. Say hi, Coco. Coco, say hi. Along with man's best friend. And Coco and I and a number of my dogs that I had over the years would always join me for a run, especially early in the morning. And then I started to enter a number of the local races and I would always place. So I say, hey, it gives me something to shoot for. It gives me a goal and something to, a challenge that, that would keep me interested. And for some of us, we could care less about challenges. Some of us are passive and we just prefer to sit and read or basically just, be inactive. But for me, I've always been somewhat of a hyper person, someone who needs to have something to keep me going. So the running did that. And over the years, we developed friendly competition between a number of our locals. One competitor who tend to always keep the spark going is Don Lang. Don Lang from year to year would always challenge me, and he would keep the little friendly rivalry going and give you something to work towards. So in any event, I say that to say, over the years I amassed a number of medals, and I was looking for my marathon medal where I did the 26.2 miles, the first one, and I realized that I couldn't put my hand on it. And when I considered looking for this medal, I remembered and I realized what happened. My wife, she decided to pack up all of my medals and my awards and everything, and she placed them in a shed on the outside. And when I realized that she did that, I got very, very, I wouldn't say totally upset, but I was a bit annoyed that she did that, because here I am thinking, the many hours of training, the preparation, the execution, and all of this stuff meant nothing to her. Nothing. She just packed it all away. and then she put it in the shed with a lot of the used to be or the has be things. She put it in storage. And I say, wow, isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? It's amazing because we work so hard and we push, we acquire, we achieve, and those of us who are closest to us, as long as they have access and control, have no value for whatever went into these accomplishments. These accomplishments actually means nothing to them. And I was just amazed by that. I said, isn't that something how life is? You know, life is all about your personal journey. Your personal journey. Other people would encourage you by providing some competition every now and again to get you to pick your feet up and go a little bit faster. It gets you to dig in deeper if you're into sales campaigns. And as you can see, you know, I have the video running along with this one where I went into the shed, and I will show you some of the first place finishes. And I had so much of them because I did very, very well in the insurance industry, the financial services industry. And when I look at all of the plaques and all of the awards, you know, packed away, tucked away, I was like, wow, this is a sum total of our achievements here on earth. And this is some total of the stuff that we take so seriously. You know, you would push and you would work. I use these plaques and awards not to idolize them, but I use them for motivation and for a memory for me to understand what, you know, what I would have achieved, or the road that I took to get to where I'm at in some cases. Some of the PRs, which is your personal record, which is your personal best, or, you know, you realize that, okay, 10, 15 years ago I did this or I did that, and I want to be able to better this time, and that type of thing. It's a source of motivation. It's something that you can look forward to, something that can drive you. But you have to make an effort to do this for you, not for anyone else, because at the end of the day, it has no value to these other people. Now, I would say my wife is the closest to me. We reside together. We've been together for many, many, many years, 30 years, over 30 years. And this is the same lady who looked at all of my stuff, and it had no value to her. When I'm out running in the morning, she's sleeping. When I was studying for some of those insurance campaigns and in and out of people's homes all hours of the morning, she was not there. And I realized that this stuff is really personal, and the people close to you, they don't have any value for these things. And I just thought, wow, when we are faced with our mortality, or when the day comes and we're not here anymore, these things that we put value on, these things that, you know, are so dear to us, will be politely tucked away in a shed, maybe for a moment, and after that maybe sent to Goodwill or the Salvation Army or wherever it goes. And I think that's a sobering thought, because for most persons, while we're here achieving and pushing, and I see a lot of the young people now, you know, they are at the stage in their life where they're starting their families and they have these great jobs that are paying them so much money and they're doing so well. They fail to realize that God's willing, once they remain healthy, they're going to be faced with something similar. So I'm saying, for those of you who are my friends and who are at different stages in your life, you need to consider where and how you spend your time, how you develop yourself, personally, your personal goals, and understand and realize that a lot of these things really doesn't mean anything to the people who are close to you. Now, if they're gonna propel you to the level where you can live a life of abundance, or you could appreciate just being here on earth and being alive, then ensure that you do that. I know I do have some family and friends. They would have realized this, and for the most part, they put measures in place to take care of themselves and to make sure, they are grounded. That is something that I didn't focus too much on. But at this stage, I am learning. And I always say, I don't want to be, okay, Coco. Yes, yes, you see him. You see Coco is welcoming the persons as they pass us. Yeah, morning, morning, morning. All right, all the best.
Right here, big boy.
Yes, yes. So, they're realizing at a late stage in this game too, that they would have done some things not that was beneficial to them, not beneficial to them, and they did things to please everyone around them, or people who really could care less about how things shape up in their life later on. In other words, they might have done things to impress other people who really don't care about them. I'm saying, as we travel this journey and we notice all of the various things that are happening today and we consider our mortality, let us remember to travel this road with the mindset that we're going to take care of ourselves, because you can't pour from an empty vessel. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. I'm learning that a little late in life, but as long as there's life, there's hope. So I'm sharing these couple words with you because maybe you haven't thought about what I would have mentioned. And to my colleagues who are in the insurance business, who are doing so well, I see from time to time on Facebook, they're posting all of their accomplishments. Just remember, the plaques and all of the awards that you get one day may end up in a shed. All of the medals may end up in a shed. It may end up in the garbage. It may end up on a pile somewhere. And don't hold too fast to those things, because those things, as far as the persons closest to you, have little to no value. Work on self-development, self-preservation. You want to preserve yourself, and also to ensure that while you're doing this, you consider people. Because I will tell you, the one thing that would last after you're gone is what you would have done for people. People remember, they tell their family, they tell their friends, they tell their children, oh, I remember Mr. Bo. Mr. Bo was so generous to me, or Mr. Bo was so kind to me, or Mr. Bo did this, or Mr. Bo did that. And they would extend favor to your children and your children's children. You may not have any children, but it will extend to your family members as well. So thank you for staying with me for these 14 minutes. And I pray that you would consider some of the things that I said. And I know a lot of persons watch these videos. They tell me in person. They don't comment because they, I guess, busy scrolling. They tell me they are encouraged by some of my words. So I will try to communicate with them every now and again this way. God bless. You have a great day.